Page 259, chapter 628, slaughtering pigeons. 1300, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu said, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam saw a man following a dove and said, a Satan following a Satan.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وعلى من تبع هداهم إلى يوم الدين. I asked the brother to return back to that chapter because maybe we haven't explained what is the link between the chapter title and between the hadith, which is hadith of the Prophet ﷺ when he had seen a man following a pigeon. And he said, shaitan following shaitan. First of all, we need to explain the Adab Al Mufrad here, that is a command to slaughter the pigeon if the pigeon was caught in the hand of a person who is playing around with it. The reason that the Imam al-Bukhari brought this is actually for two reasons. Reason number one is that the ahadith regarding the pigeons are most of them unauthentic. And Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah in his book Al-Manar al-Munif, he had mentioned that the hadiths regarding the pigeons are to be most of them unauthentic, and actually it is all of them unauthentic except for this hadith which talks about the pigeon. And Imam Ibn al-Qayyim, he said this is the highest of isnad amongst them. And we have said that 1301, which talks about the pigeon, is to be unauthentic. And all the other hadith, some of them are fabricated. So that's number one. Number two, the second one, which is 1301, would you, I'd like to read it please for me. 1301, which is the one of unauthentic.
1301, Al-Hasan said, Uthman did not speak on any Jumu'ah without commanding the killing of dogs and slaughtering doves.
Now you understand the word here, slaughtering the doves, the hammam, which is linked to that chapter, which is from the unauthentic. Why did Uthman command to, slaughter the doves? We do understand to slaughter the dogs. First of all, as I said, this is unauthentic. But the command to kill the dogs is there for the dog which is black and the dog which is harmful, the aqur. But the command for the killing of the dove, we don't see it in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. When we said regarding the pigeon that the people breed the pigeon and they breed them, okay, for a number of reasons. If it's for the sake of eating food, eating the pigeon, no problem. If it is for the sake of, for example, sending letters, we said, it's no problem. For the sake of any cause which is legitimate, like for example, a person who wants to have the pigeon just for the sake of any leftovers from the food, to give it to the pigeon, mashallah, it's a good cause as well. But the ones who wants to have the pigeon for the sake of nothing, just to play around with, that is the one which is harmful and disliked, as the scholars have said. And this is the correct opinion of the two. There's two opinions regarding this issue. That is disliked, or a person bringing the pigeon or breeding the pigeon for the sake of harming other pigeons. Harming other pigeons. Or maybe landing or harming the windows of other people. So playing around with the pigeon ends up with wasting time. Number two, harming the animal itself. There was a story about a person who was tying up a bird with his string, and the bird somehow fell into a hole, and because he was holding the string, the bird's leg was broken. His mother made a supplication on her own son. She's saying that just like you broke the leg of that bird, may Allah break your leg. And Allah broke his leg. So playing around with the pigeon, it will cause harm for the pigeon, which is not right. That is why the command here comes that if the person was taking the pigeon for the sake of playing around, then the punishment for that is that to slaughter the pigeon. Number one, this is a deterrence against playing around for the pigeon. Okay, deterrence. And number two, protection for the pigeon. So if the person having this pigeon, which has cost money, is going to be killed, if he's been caught playing around with it, that's a protection for the pigeon. That's the link, as I said, between the chapter title and that hadith. Right. Go ahead. One following chapter, which we have explained, I think explained it correctly, and alhamdulillah, we go just to the
61.
Yes, which is, was that one? Which one? 1303, was it unauthentic? Yes? Right. Before I go to 1303, I would like, 1304, I would like to narrate 1303, which is unauthentic. There's some benefits there as well. Read it, please.
Chapter 630. When someone spits while he is with people. Abu Hurairah, Hadith 1303. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu said, when someone spits in the presence of people, he should shade his mouth with his palm so that his spit falls to the ground. When he fasts, he should oil himself so that the trace of the fast is not seen on him.
Right, can you just read for me 1283, please?
Page 257, 1283, under the chapter 621, who blows his nose in his garment. 1283, Muhammad bin Sirin said, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu blew his nose in his garment and then said, Bakh, bakh. Now Abu Hurairah blows his nose in cotton. Before, I was laying faint between the rooms of Aisha radiallahu anha and the mimbar of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the mimbar of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's mosque. People used to call me mad, but I was only hungry.
I think I remember in that hadith I have explained the word intikhad into two meanings, which is something comes from the nose, it comes from the mouth. And after the deeper investigation in this, the correct opinion, intikhad is only for the nose. And I bring you this to link it to this unauthentic hadith. So the intikhad, Abu Hurairah was taking whatever comes from his nose into his thawb, because whatever comes to the nose is disgusting for the people. And at that time, tissues were not available. Okay, papers were not available. Because papers are available, they would have written the Quran on papers. It used to be leather, skins of animals, which is not suitable for taking the mucus, okay, from the nose. That's the mukhat. The Arabic words regarding as well the spittle, it varies. Here, read the other again, which is the authentic. It says that Abu Hurairah, he said, if the person takes the nukha in his hand, go on.
Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu said, when someone spits in the presence of people,
Okay, spits here is not really the right translation, even though it's authentic, but I'm just making tanakha. Because the spit is min basaqa or bazaqa. Tanakha is the phlegm, you know. So what is that? Giving you phlegm. The verb as well, yeah? You've got a phlegm there. What's the translation is this? Debandi. The better than the translation, you don't know. Okay. It's a phlegm. It's not. Okay. Tanakha. In Arabic there is, you know the water that comes into the mouth which is called saliva. It's called in Arabic riq. When this riq is spitted out, it's called basaqa or bazaqa, spittle, to spit. But the nukha'a that comes either from the chest or comes from the brain, okay, that is colorful. That is the one we're talking about, tanakha. And as soon as the person, takes it out, people don't like to see it. That's why it's good to put it in a towel or a tissue, or put it in the land and bury it with something. Okay? It's different from the spittle, this phlegm. And during Ramadan, if you had this, not the spittle, I'm talking about the phlegm, if it came out of your mouth, now according to all the scholars, it is very disliked, even some of them go to prohibit it, to go and swallow it back. Because even medically speaking, it is what? Harmful. You should really take it out. But if you swallow it, does it break the fast or not? That's a controversial issue among the scholars. The correct opinion is that we don't have a proof to say it is going to break the fast. It will break the fast, of course. Excuse me, now I'm going to discuss it. If you took it out outside and start licking it back. Yeah. But once it's in your mouth, it does not really detach itself in your mouth. Then, as I said, some of the scholars, they say it will break the fast, but the correct opinion, it does not break the fast. But all of them have a consensus, it's not really right to take it back. Right. Are you okay with that? So, coming now to this athar, which is from Abu Hurairah, that if the person had taken the spittle away, the phlegm away from his, then it is good to really hide it. And Abu Hurairah is the one who narrated the athar, which is sahih, when he had put it in the al-Kuttam, and actually he said, bakhir. Wow. You know, I was really poor now these days, mashallah. And he says, وَإِذَا صَامَ فَلْيَبْدَهِمْ. And if he to fast, then let him make duh. Now the unauthentic, but you know, it is good as well to moisture his skin when you are fasting, because you know, especially in the heat of the sun, you get dehydrated and you dry up. So it's good to moisture yourself, and it will not affect your fast as well, inshallah. Right, go into the following chapter.
Chapter 631. When a man speaks to people, he should not turn to one particular person. 1304. Habib bin Abi Thabit said, when a man spoke, his turning to one particular man was not liked. It was preferred for him to address everyone.
Right, the chapter title, Bab إذا حدث الرجل قوم لا يقبل على واحد. When the person talks to the people, you should not specify someone or a person. If he talks to the people, I mean the general talk. The general knowing. Not like, for example, I want to talk to somebody about something which is specific to him and to me as a secret or something else. This is general, like a maw'idah, like an admonition, a reminder. Okay, he says that the person, if he talks like general, لا يقبل على واحد, he should not point himself to a person, meaning eye-wise, face-wise, body-wise. Okay, you should not specify a particular person. That's the chapter title. So the person, from the etiquette of when he talks generally, he should not be specifying a particular person. Because if you do so, and if that general admonishing is not good and advice, he would say to you, why are you picking up on me? And if it is good, that person would say, mashallah, he is giving me preference. And the other people say, why is he just, why is he ignoring us? It will lead to lots of things. So it is better to, all the time, to generalize, not the people to think that he is specified. That's why Anas radiallahu anhu, we used to sit on the right side of the Prophet of Allah, because every time the Messenger of Allah turns, he was facing us. Also, Anas radiallahu anhu narrates for us that the Prophet ﷺ, once he had finished his prayer, and he أقبل علينا جميعا. He looks at us all, but he does not specify. It's like everybody thinks that he's looking at him. Everyone. So he said أقبل علينا جميعا. And he said to us, do you read in your salah behind the imam? We said, yes, Messenger of Allah. After he told us 3 times, do you read? None of us was scared to say. They said, yes, Messenger of Allah, إِنَّا لَنَفْعَلُ ذَلِكَ. He said, verily don't read that except for the Fatiha. And that is of course at the beginning, and later on he abrogated that, even the Fatiha, not to be read behind the imam in the loud recitation, with the respect to the difference among the scholars, of course. So when the person talks, he should be talking to everybody. So he is not specifying one direction or one particular person. He looks at everybody. Never thinks that he's looking at me. That is the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. So you don't really specify with the words, not even with the looks, not even with the body, not even with anything that would people say, why is he ignoring us, or why is he picking up on me? Some of the people even will, we say, يُرَقَّعِ الْكَلَامِ, gives a patch to what he says. After he says, he's admonishing, which is, for everybody, عارف, this person, and I don't want to ignore, and I don't want to ignore anybody, everybody's included. So why did you talk to him? This general talk is to everybody. So that is the etiquette of that. And he brings underneath it, Habib ibn Abi Thabit. He says that كانوا الصحابة رضي الله عنهم كانوا يحبون, those are the companions, whenever they used to speak, إذا حدث الرجل, one of them to speak general speech, and لا يقبل على الرجل الواحد, he will not point himself to one person. With his looks, with his face, with his body, with his talking, no, he does not specify. ولكن ليعمه. But let him, when he does that, then let him generalize it to everybody. So everybody thinks he's looking at me. Everybody thinks that, he's not specifying one particular person. And this is, as I said, to care for the feelings of the people. It's very important. And it will affect sometimes the brotherhood ties if you specify one person. Okay, if you're really criticizing, it will damage your relationship with that person because you're looking at him. And if it is a good thing that you're saying and you're ignoring other people will not come to you because you're not really giving them any attention. Your attention is only to one person. And as I said, it's very important. But here he brings an athar, and we've got a hadith. Hadith number 1, which is narrated for you. Hadith Anas radiallahu anhu, the Prophet ﷺ, one day that after he finished the prayer, he أقبل علينا جميعا. And I do have another one as well from Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu warda, where Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he also narrates for us that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he had also, let me just get that hadith. Hadith is in Sunan al-Nasai. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he says, Prophet he said, he prayed al-Dhuhr, قال ثم أقبل عليهم بوجهه. He looked at them with his face. So that is as well, and that Abdullah Mas'ud said he had looked at us on the face. He didn't specify everybody. And then he said, he was looking at it, and then they said to him, Messenger of Allah, anything happened to the salah? Because he made it 2 rak'ah instead of 4. No, nothing. So he told them, what happened? So the Prophet of Allah continued to make another 2 rak'ah. Then he looked at them again, and then addressed them. إِنَّمَا أَنَا بَشَرٌ مِثْلُ. That I am very like a human being like you. So I forget like you forget. I do forget like you forget. So that is why the Prophet addressed them all together. And this is, as I said, an etiquette of when you're talking of the people, when they talk to each other, or in general, this is an etiquette should be taken into consideration. Now,
Chapter 632, Excessive Curiosity, 1305. Ibn Abil Hudayl said, Abdullah visited a man with one of his companions. When he entered the house, his companion began to stare about. Abdullah said to him, by Allah, it would have been better for you if your eyes had been gouged out.
I'm asking Abdul Qalib, can you just tell me what is the translation of the chapter there with you? Not excessive curiosity? Roaming eye. That's nothing to do with the chapter. Oh, yes, فضول النظر. Yes. So you're talking what? He's better. That's better translation. Much better. That's why excessive curiosity has nothing to do with that. Okay, فضول النظر. Excessive should be looking. Or roaming around excessively. That is a better translation, definitely. Okay? So here, فضول النظر. That is, the chapter title talks about that looking at something you should not be looking. Because that looks, that maybe ends up to do harm. Why should you should be looking? All the time, restrict your eyesight to what is your area. If you start looking around, people will not be feeling comfortable. So excessive look, someone person, for example, you come to him and he starts doing like this to you. Just like that. Do you feel comfortable? He's like sizing you, how much you're worth. You're looking at what type of jacket you got, what type of trousers you got, what make is your shoes. From that, you will know. You know, those people, the agents, they're trained to go and sell cars like in the Mercedes showrooms. And I'm talking this because I know a friend. He said, from the person when he comes in, we know, is he going to buy a car or not? Because from the type of shoes that he dressed up, it's a particular make or mark. Then we'll know. Do you come to somebody look like this? I don't feel, straight away, he's signing up. It's not because of my manners or what I've got, it's because of what I've dressed up. Subhanallah. So, yes, I'm going. So he said, this is excessive roaming, is not right. And especially when you come to the house of a person. Okay? And you start, for example, let's say that he gave you an access to his toilet. Go to the toilet and start opening his, what do you call that? Cabinet. What do you open the cabinet for? And look inside. What's inside the cabinet? True or not? Yeah, there's people that do that. Allahumma musta'an. And he's left you in the guest room, and you went inside and you start opening the box inside you. Or your access to the toilet is through the kitchen, and you open the fridge. People that do that, wallahi. Wallahi, the people that do that. Allahumma musta'an. That's shame. How can you dare to do that? The same people that cures it like this, they can't even hold themselves. You don't want people like this in your house. And this is what happened. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, he had a man with him. Ibn Abi Hulayy, he did not say who's that man. Maybe he knows that man, but he doesn't want to make a scandal of that man. Because we're not concerned who's that man. Usually it's the case all the time. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud will go with his very close students of knowledge. Maybe he's done a mistake. So that's why we shouldn't really know about him. We know about what he has done. And what Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he told him off. So he's with him. And when he went inside the house, I mean, the house of someone, he just came to visit a man. So this is the house of a person who is not really the person's house. Now notice the Abdullah ibn Mas'ud's house. It's a different house. So he came. So the one who was with him, he started looking, roaming around with his looks. Looking around like that. Maybe there's a door there, looking like this for the door. Allahumma musta'an. People do like this. And that's when Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he said, لو كانت والله by Allah لو تفقعت, if your eye to be poked, gouged, عيناك كان خير لك, to be better for you. And we have, alhamdulillah, discussed this in number of hadith before. So for example, in 1070, the Prophet ﷺ, which is hadith Sa'd ibn Sa'd, when he saw a person who's looking from the hole, remember that? His pee-pee. So what did the Prophet ﷺ said? He was trying hard. He said, Wallahi, if I knew that, I would have what? Poked you into your eyes. And there will be no liability on you in the Islamic State. That's it. He poked his eyes, he was looking, peeping. And he said, إِنَّمَا جُعِلَ الْإِذْنُ مِنْ أَجْلِ الْبَصَرِ. Very, the whole permission that you're being sought is what? To look. What's the permission for? It's for you to look. So you have permission in order to look. So if I don't give you permission, don't look. So this is Abdullah ibn Mas'ud taking the sunnah from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Fudul an-nadar. And I'll tell you what, an-nadar is one of the ways and the gates that would lead to the haram. It's one of the ways and the gates that would lead to the haram. When the person does not govern and control his nadar, and it ends up that it will lead into the haram. Al-Imam Ibn al-Qayyim, again, rahimahullah, in his book, Al-Jawab al-Kafi. Al-Dawa, Al-Jawab al-Kafi. This great book talks about the effects of those sins. So he says, that is, madakhir al-ma'asi. What are the gates to the sin? He says 4. Those are al-lahadat, al-khatarat, and then al-lafadat, and then al-khutuwat. 4. Al-lahadat. Al-lahad means to look. Imam Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah, he says, this is a leader in the lust. And it is messenger of it. And that is why the Prophet ﷺ, he had concentrated a lot onto that. Ghadd al-basar. For verily it is the foundation for protecting your private parts. So if the person let go of his eyes to roam around wherever, that will make him destroyed. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he says, لا تتبعوا النظرة النظرة. Don't follow the look with another look. The look to what? That's something that a woman came, you didn't know. And then you say, let me give another look. That's the one. The one came, you didn't know, you didn't pay attention. But the other one, it's because of shaitan. So the Prophet ﷺ said, النظرة سهم مسموم من سهام الشيطان. The look is an arrow, which is a poison arrow, the arrows of the shaitan. And you have the first one because you you didn't know. If you knew, there is no first one. If you knew that there's a woman there's no first one to look. Unless you want to marry. That's something else. If you want to marry, you could sneak to go and look. No problem. And sneaking is halal this way. As Muhammad bin Maslama, he used to sneak to look at Buthayna bint al-Dhahhak. He used to follow her on top of her roof. And when he was spotted by Ibn Abi Hafma, so you do this and you are the companion, the Prophet of Allah? He said, I'm doing it because the Prophet of Allah told me to do so. Man arada an yankiha imra'a, he wants the intention to marry a woman, then let him look at what makes it to marry her. And I have genuine intention to marry her. So that's why I'm sneaking to look. Because you want to look at before you go. It's better to look before you go. Do you understand that? It's better to have a look outside before you go. Because if somebody told you, oh, mashallah, his potential sister is a good one, mashallah, and then you go straight away without having a look beforehand. So you're sitting now in the house waiting for her to be coming. So when she comes to bring her, oh my God, you don't like it. Something that happened. It's not really appealing to you. That's the problem. So this is no problem. But the problem is that when the person wants to have a look, which is a haram look. So as the Imam Ibn al-Qayyim said, al-lahadat hiya ra'idu ash-shahwa wa rasuluha. It is the leader of the lust and it is the messenger of it. And the Prophet ﷺ, he had emphasized on that, al-lahadat. And the Prophet of Allah, he said, al-ayn tazni wa zinaha an-nadr. The eye would fornicate. And the fornication of it, what? Is the look. So that is why Allah ibn Mas'ud, he told his companion off. Why are you looking around? Why are you roaming with your eyes? غضوا أبصاركم. Protect your eye and lower your gaze. And we have as well a hadith from the Prophet ﷺ, which is Shaykh al-Albani makes authentic in 1470. يضمن لي ستا, that is guarantee for me 6 things from yourselves, I will guarantee for your paradise. Number 1, that if you speak, be truthful. Number 2, if you are making a promise, then keep that promise. And if you are being trusted, then give the trust. And protect your private parts. And then number 5, وَغُضُّوا أَبْصَارَكُمْ. That is, lower your gaze. Don't roam with your eyes into the haram. And number 6, وَكُفُّوا أَيْدِيَكُمْ. And don't let your hand to go into the haram, because the Prophet ﷺ said, وَالْيَدُ تَزْنِي وَزِنَاهَا الْبَطْشِ. The hand as well fornicates. How does it fornicate? By doing haram with the hand. What time is that? Is that clock correct? Yes? Right. So, in this, we find that Prophet ﷺ had told us regarding this issue. Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah, he said the gates for the sins are 4, and we repeat them again: al-lahadat, wal-khatarat, wal-lafazat, and also the last one, which is al-khutuwat. Those are the four things. Number one, al-lahadat, to look. Number two, al-khatarat, and this is the most dangerous. Something goes into inside yourself. Either it is khatarat which is good, or this khatarat which is evil. Either this khatarat is good, or this khatarat is evil. And if it is evil, he who does really belittle such a thing, it will lead him to the destruction as well. Because this khatarat goes into the heart. And if the person is not to accept it, then it is a gate for him to sin. Allahu A'lam. As for the lafadat which is the words that you speak out. And the word, when it comes out of your mouth, watch. Either this word would please Allah or would dip you into the hellfire for 70 years. Al-lafadat. And the last one, al-khutuwat. And of course this is you could say the proof of what you're doing. Because when the eyes, it will lead to what? To the khutwat, to the speak. And that is why there's a link always. وعباد الرحمن الذين يمشون على الأرض هونا وإذا خاطبهم الجاهلون قالوا سلاما. So there's a link between always the eyes, and link between as well the stepping, that is, eye would lead straight away to the zina, to the fornication, al-khutwa. So al-khutwat as well, and the khutwat is the shaitan. He would make it step by step until he puts you into the haram. If you want further in this discussion of this, we'll go no further except to the book of Imam Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah, which is a great book, that is Al-Jawab Al-Kafi. Now,
1306, Nafi' said, a group of people of Iraq visited Ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma. They saw a gold neckband on one of the servants in Ibn Umar's house, and they looked at each other. He said, how quick you are to detect evil.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wa salamu ala ashrafil mursaleen, wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een, wa ala man tabi'a hudahum ila yawmiddin. The chapter title was Fudul an-Nadar, the excessive roaming of the eyes, of the looks. So now you have to bear in mind what is the link between this athar of Nafi' and between the chapter title. You see, the group from the people of Iraq, they had entered onto Abdullah ibn Umar. So they saw on a servant a tawqa min dhahab, like a necklace from gold. They looked at each other, and they said, "Ma aftanakum lishar." Straight away, Abdullah ibn Umar spotted what they were doing, and he said, "Subhanallah." Straight away, it's very easy to spot the evil. What is the link between this and the excessive roaming? Well, first of all, Abdullah ibn Umar is not his first time that he would, condemn the people coming from the people of Iraq. And he's not the ones from Iraq because he's got Iraqi nationality. Because Prophet ﷺ, he said, and he pointed to Iraq, and he said, from there, the evil will come out. Number two, they are the ones who had killed or let down Al-Husayn, because they'd given him the promise. When Husayn came to them, they let him down and he was killed. So, when they asked him one day regarding the mosquito blood, is that najis, impure or not? He said, Subhanallah, they're asking about a mosquito blood and they forgot the blood of Husayn. They're asking about the mosquito blood and they forget that on their hands is the blood of. So if the blood of the mosquito is really bothering you, is it pure and impure? So what happened to that gushing blood of Husayn that took place? Same thing here. When these people came to him, as soon as they spotted something on someone which is not right, that is a necklace of gold, and the necklace of gold is not supposed to be on the men. Prophet ﷺ, even he had said, Man طوق حبيبه, even the woman, when they have a necklace of gold, it's not allowed. من أراد أن يطوق حبيبه بطوق من نار فليطوقه بطوق من ذهب. Who wants to encircle or make a necklace of fire around his lover, the girl, then let him put a necklace of gold. That's why Shaykh Al-Albani, out of so many scholars, he said, even the gold to the women is not all of it halal. The gold which is as a necklace or as a ring or as a bracelet, it is haram, even for the woman. Then halal gold for the woman is the one which is like earrings or pieces of gold chunk, or for example something hanging from a necklace which is not pure gold, like a necklace of silver. And the gold we're talking about is a pure gold. So if the necklace was half gold, half silver, like for example, half of it is allowed, but when it sees the other half, then it becomes haram, according to our Shaykh rahimahullah. So they looked and they saw that he's got gold. And they looked at each other, that means as a look of criticizing. He said, Subhanallah, you are very keen to spot the evil. Because Abdullah ibn Umar, he said, you are not fit to condemn evil. Do you understand that? You are not fit, you people who come, you're not fit. Not everybody is fit to enjoy good and forbid evil. If you enjoy good and forbid evil, first of all, make sure that you don't do it. If you want to tell somebody stop smoking yourself. You can't have a cigarette in your mouth and you say, brothers, cigarettes haram, cigarettes is unhealthful, unhealthy to your body. You can't do that. So he's not condemning, for example, the forbidding of the evil. A'udhu billah. Prophet he had emphasized the importance of enjoying good and forbidding evil. But those are the ones, they are not fit. Number two, you subhanAllah, all this good around, you didn't really spot when you spotted that little thing which is evil. So that's another issue. So when you come to somebody, for example, at least, mashallah, you show him everything, and let's say, for example, that he's got a topi and he's got a hat and he's got, mashallah, thoba and got everything, but you spotted that he's doing like this. Why are you doing like that? I mean, you forgot about all of this. First of all, if you want to criticize something, make sure that you do it in a sweet way. So, say, mashallah, tabarakallah, had it been that maybe people would take it wrongly if you do like this, unrolling your sleeves. Or for example, if you have opened your buttons. Some people, they open it because, they think it is the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Yes, the Prophet of Allah used to have his buttons undone, but that is, at his time, and this is habitual sunnah. It's not really a bad sunnah. If somebody walks with his chest undone, I think he's like showing off these days. So this is what the link now between this and the excessive roaming looks is the one that you look and you're not supposed to look. So they've seen that necklace in the person, but you did not spot the whole good in the room. Number two, you're not fit. And with the blind nobody was really harsh regarding those people. Okay, and when they came as well to him, I said about the qadr, al-amru unuf, they came from Iraq, from the same place. That there's no qadr, there's no fate, is what you do. Then he told them the hadith, which is Sahih Muslim, that the Prophet of Allah has got nothing to do with those people who dissociate themselves from the qadr. The qadr, the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everything's been set 50,000 years. When Allah commanded the pen to write, and He wrote everything. Until the day of resurrection. Now, chapter
633, 1307. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu said, chapter 633, excessive words. 1307. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu said, there is no good in excessive words.
Right. The chapter title, 633, Fudul al-Kalam. There was Fudul al-Nadar, excessive roaming. Now this one, excessive what? Speech. What do you call it? Vain talk is better even. Vain talk is even better. It's vain talk. Because this is the meaning of it. Everything that exceeds the talk which is khayr, good, whether it's got nothing into it, no benefit or harm, or got harm, it's called fudul kalam. Anything that would exceed the talk which is good, exceeds that. That means either it's got nothing in it, no good, no harm or no good, or it's got no harm or no benefit as well, or it's got harm, then it's excessive talk. That's fudul kalam. And the Prophet ﷺ, he concentrated on the tongue a lot. So much. This, and this. He who does guarantee for me between his jaws and between his legs, I'll guarantee for him paradise. Between his jaws and the tongue. Prophet ﷺ said, Man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir. He who does believe in Allah on the last day, then let him say good or be quiet. He who's got been quiet, then he's got salvation. Be quiet, that means not be quiet for when somebody asks you, what's your name? You say, be quiet. No. Be quiet, that means you should only talk when there is a need to talk. But the one who's talking all the time, chit-chatting all the time, that's chit-chatting. And this chat now happens with WhatsApp. Find this person from the morning till the evening, subhanallah. Doesn't let go. There was a mother, her sons used to visit her. Every time they visit her, they walk and then start on there. So she decided, she put a basket outside the house. Every son visits her, you have to put the mobile outside and come in. And allowed to have the mobile with you. Because they can't talk to her. So all of them, which one? You talk to the person, is someone else. SubhanAllah. And he writes a chit chat and then he's waiting for the answer. He's waiting. When he's ready to get, he's laughing, he's happy. And then he starts back and he says, tick, tick. And they tick, tick, all day, tick, 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 tick. He's happy, so happy, these people. Do you think I'm laughing? Wallahi, I'm not joking. This is what the people are doing. Wasting time chit-chatting. Excessive, yeah. This is wallahi, saraf. Excessive. No problem. But the chit-chat, in front of ask a question, to answer a question, to do how are you. But those people, explore days and nights and he's dreaming with it and it becomes an addiction. And definitely it's a disease. And that comes as well, fudul kalam. It comes underneath that. So, man samata naja. As-salaf, predecessors, the companions, they learned from the Prophet of Allah. One of them said, by Allah, if there is anything that needs to be locked up for a long time, it is the tongue. By Allah, if there is anything needed to be locked up for a long time, is the prison. Lock it up, prison it. We don't want to release it. Because what they have seen from the extensive hadith from the Prophet ﷺ regarding the tongue. That athar is unauthentic, which is brought from Abu Hurairah. This athar is unauthentic, but the meaning of its sound. We go to the following 1308, by which we'll finish inshallah. Naam. Yes. Athar Abu Hurairah is unauthentic. We go to 1308. Naam.
1308, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu said, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, the worst of my community are those who talk a lot, and those who go too far in what they say, and who fills their mouth with words. And the best of my community are the best of them in character.
Can I ask, what's your translation, Abdul Qadir? The worst of my ummah are? Okay, that's number one. Number two? The second one, what? Ridicule other one? No. Speak what? Validly. Valuably? That. P with a B. The B is a P or a B in the middle. B, valuably. Okay, let me just, hang on a second. Okay, give me that spelling of that word exact. Value, P or B, B, L-Y. Valubly. My dictionary doesn't know it. It's misspelling. Can you show it to me? Can you give me try the V-O, not A. V-O-L-Y. Okay, I got that one. No, that's wrong. This is the president. American? I don't know what's the difference. Right, to complain, protest. That's not really right as well. And right, this is not right translation. It's more correct there than the other one. Right, Shirar Ummati, the worst of my ummah. Well, the Prophet said a number of times, he said the worst of my ummah, but it will be different. Shirar Ummati, the ones who wail on the deceased. Shirar Ummati. Shirar al-Khalq, the one who make images. You remember? Hadith, lots of hadith, which is different from this. Shirar al-Ummah. Shirar al-Khalqillah, the one who are their person who dies amongst them, and they build upon his grave as a shrine as well. So from among those, Thartharun. Tharthara, chit-chat. Too much talk. That's Tharthara. Okay? And the Tharthara is the sound of the talk. That's called Tharthara. You're Tharthar. You talk a lot. Tharthar. Second one, al-mutashaddiqun. There's a difference of opinion regarding what the word mutashaddiq, but they are the one who expand in the talk where there's no need. And expand in the talk without any paying attention to the danger of what they say. Some of them, the scholars said, no, the ones who are ridiculing others. That's why it comes, ridiculing. Some of the scholars said, ridiculing us. To ridicule somebody. And the mutashaddiq, if we go to the root of that word, mutashaddiq from the shidq here. That's the mouth, shidq. So the ones who are actually as well, you know when a person starts speaking like posh in a way that the people don't understand what he's talking about? You need a dictionary every time he says a word, and you just pull out the dictionary. What is he saying? What is he talking about? And he'll talk a simple thing, he brings you very hard words, and he can drive it. You have a headache, and your brain starts heating up because you can't understand the words. Just be simple. Prophet ﷺ said, talk to the people according to what they're understanding. You have to do that. So my understanding is just a simple language. If you're going to speak to me Shakespeare language, you can't understand what you're talking about. So what's the point? Oh, very good talker. Very good talker because I didn't understand it? That's not right. You're not a good talker. Because you know. Somebody said, MashaAllah, talks very good. How? 90% of his language, so many people that don't understand it. Is that he talks a lot better? Is that he talks better? So using the language it's being written, the language is to the simple people. You should use simple language. So this voluble, I don't know what the voluble is. None of you have done that. No, now the word. Right. The other one, al-mutafayhiqun. Mutafayhiq is from the fahq, and this is to fill up. Fill up. Same thing, which is the same. So it opens their mouth. And I've seen one of those. When he talks, he's like his tongue moves like a cow from one side to the other. Like a cow. Now the cow, you've seen the cow. Exactly like this. And his problem is he's not English. His skins say so. Okay? And his name's uttered as well. But because he's amongst teachers, and I was looking at him, and the way he's talking, he's bringing words of, poetry in the way. Subhanallah. Allah al-Musta'an. That's not right. It's from the worst of the people. What are you doing? Trying to waste time. This is called fudul kalam, excessive or vain talk. And then he says, وَخِيَارُ ummati. The best of my ummah is the one who's got the good manners. We talked about the good manners a number of times in the chapter here, because the good manners is from the characteristics of the prophets. And they're always in the middle. They're always in the middle, and they always have patience towards the people, passion towards the people, love towards the people, and they will not have any arrogance. When you have somebody arrogant, you hate him straight away. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke to his Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, say that if you were to be harsh in your heart, and harsh in the way that you deal with the people, then the people will leave. So, if there is anything that you need to take more of, then take from the good manners, always. By finish, inshallah. And we are about to finish the book, by the way. So maybe I will say 2 classes, we'll be finishing, or 3 classes, finish the book, inshallah. If you have any questions, I will start with Uncle. Before you say the question, Uncle, I would like just to say about as well the dye. Remember the dye, Uncle? It's very important to know that when the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Khaliful Yahud, Khaliful Nasara, be different from the Christian, be different from the Jews, Sbighu, and dye your hair. The dye takes place, the mukhalafa, the different takes place by dyeing. But it does not take place by investigating. Every time you look at the mirror, how many grey hair there? I'm going to go straight away and dye it. That's not right. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's just like you are pinpointing every hair. I'm going to kill that hair with a dye. So every time something, so every 1 month you're dying, or every 15 days you're dying. That's not really the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. I'm saying this to the brothers because I have seen someone, I've never seen any grey hair on him. Then I knew, mashallah, he goes to the barber every few days and they make sure that even a single hair there is grey. And he's, of course, black. You put it black, and black's haram. So, what you have done, Uncle, alhamdulillah, you have differed from the people, those people of the hellfire that you have dyed. And mashallah, I could see the grey hair coming back again from underneath. So, inshallah, after 4, 5, 6 months, he died again. That's it. MashaAllah, it looks very nice on you, Uncle. Fadal. Well, Barakallah khair for the question, because it reminded me of something which I missed out as well. The hadith, which is when the Prophet saw a man following the dove, because he's following the dove to play around with it. Playing with the one's not right. He said, Shaitan, he's Shaitan, and understand that. But why is she Shaitan? That's another thing we have been playing. Why is she Shaitan? I mean, we understand he's Shaitan. The dove hasn't done anything. Okay. That's interpreted a number of interpretations. One, which is that the Shaitan can go into the form of a dove. You understand me? That's the number one. So, Shaitan is taking the form of a dove. That's what we make it to follow. And we said, the Prophet he said, the hunting is to be what? Taking the place away from the remembrance of Allah. Also the second is that the person sometimes he is described by what he does, not by what he is. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, At-Taghut. The Taghut as well, like the Taghut is that people make him Taghut, but he's not. When the people worship Jibreel, they're making Jibreel alayhi salam's what? As a Taghut. But is he accepted to be a Taghut? You understand that? Same things. That she is Shaitana because he made her as a Shaitan to follow, but she's not Shaitana herself. Okay? That's another explanation, Wallahu a'lam. Jazakallah khairan for reminding me that. Now, yes, Uncle, you can. And there's one behind me, but I saw him behind me, then don't worry. No, Uncle, go ahead. You have kilos of gold, mashallah. You have kilos of gold.
What advice should I give to my family?
Who has got gold? Well, it's very hard, to convince a family who had gold to abandon that gold. Very hard. The family should know, first of all, they should pay zakat on the gold. Okay. So when they leave the gold with them, they have to pay zakat on that gold. Every year, not once in a lifetime. And once in a lifetime, where's the proof for that? Tell me where's the proof this once in a lifetime. It's a gold. And who says if it's taken for adoration, then there is no zakat. Give me the proof for that. There's no proof. Actually, the proof is the contrary. That is to give the zakah on that. If the zakah is going to finish it, maybe they will sell it. Number two, the opinions regarding the scholars regarding this issue of this hadith Abi Hurairah, the scholars are different. Some of them they say it's not authentic, some of them it's authentic, but we have to reinterpret it because there are other hadiths where the Prophet of Allah, he saw a woman and her daughter, they had a bracelet which is of gold. And the Prophet of Allah said, did you put zakah on those? He said, no. Then they are fire bracelets, they are. So he did not say to them that it's not allowed. But the Shaykh al-Albani is not there. He says that this hadith does not discuss the issue of that. He discusses the issue of the zakah. Just like when the Prophet of Allah talked about the man when he's in his grave, as soon as his soul comes back to him, he would hear the footsteps of the sandals of his companions, friends, leaving him. That discusses about the listening to the person, but it does not discuss whether the sandal is right to be put or not. Remember we said, sunnah is to take off your sandals when you come to the grave. So that hadith is not addressing that issue. So we have to make sure that we are talking fiqh and usul fiqh here. So regarding the issue of the gold, that is, all the gold is to be halal except, all the gold is to be haram except for the muqatta. Muqatta means broken. Illa al-muqatta. This is the hadith of Shaykh al-Albani which makes it authentic. Illa al-muqatta. That all the gold is to be haram except for the pieces. That means like a chunk or what do you call that, bar of gold, or like for example a medallion of gold which is hanging, with a necklace of silver, and or a bracelet which is half of it gold, half of it silver. Some people think that the golden bracelet, if it's been not a full circle, okay, then it's no problem. No, it doesn't mean that. So for example, they left it open, the last bit. The hadith doesn't mean this. If you adopt this opinion, it means a bracelet is gold, whether it's open or not open. I mean, most of it is gold. But if some of it's silver, some of it gold, there's no problem. So if you have this opinion, adopted this opinion, uncle, then I would say you have to convince your family to adopt that opinion as well. Because this has nothing to do with obeying the husband. Do you understand me? So if, for example, there's two opinions regarding this issue. Another opinion says, well, I believe it is halal. Then it's something to do with, obeying the husband. She could obey you in not to put them on, but to sell them. Well, this is her money. She wants to have it. You say to her, I don't want you to put it on. She has to follow you for that. But she cannot obey you in saying that it is haram. You have to convince her, like you're being convinced. Otherwise she will bring you, well, you've got Shaykh al-Albani, you've got Shaykh ibn Baz, Shaykh al-Mu'athimi, Shaykh al-Fuzar, she's going to beat you up. She'll defeat you with the scholar's opinion. Now, give the questions, please. Fadl. Do you need to recite, to have wudu to recite Quran from wherever? Recite Quran. So you're asking the question of touching the Quran, that's something else. To recite the Quran, it is very recommended to be on wudu. Very recommended to be on wudu. And Prophet of Allah used to mention Allah on all his situations, even on his own janabah, he used to mention Allah. And the Quran is from the remembrance of Allah. But it's recommended to have the wudu because of a number of hadith where the Prophet of Allah even did not return the salam until he made what? Wudu. But the question is now, if I'm touching the mobile, is it considered like touching the Quran? As for touching the Quran, the opinion is that you have to be on wudu, on full purification when you touch the Quran. Now, is the mobile a Quran? I mean, have you ever said to the person when he's a mobile lying around, can you bring me my Quran, please? You don't. You say, bring me my mobile. So it's called mobile, not a Quran. That's the function of it. Unless that mobile has got nothing, no SIM card, nothing except for what? The Quran. I say, give me my Quran. Because give me my Mus'haf. Call it Mus'haf. Mus'haf is papers, but now it's Shasht al-Quran or something like this. Anyway, I would say it is not, but very highly recommended to be what? On wudu. No. I don't think it is Quran. Now,
Regarding the previous hadith we studied, the Prophet ﷺ said the mission is for the gaze to look. What type of look is that? Because other hadith we study today say we look here and there, that was
okay, when you come inside from the outside, you took the permission. Why did you take the permission? To come inside, because so the people take precaution and get the family inside and everything, and you could come. Right? So you're taking the permission to come. Now, the other one which talks about is that when you are inside, what is that got to do with lifting up the box? That's another book. Why is it for, you want to, for example, you went inside and started sticking your neck out of the door to look what is in the corridor, for example. That's the one we're talking about. No problem. Something is just being put around. It's not, no problem to look. That is no problem. For example, he's putting his, and some of the people put his certificates. He's done this and he's done that. He hangs them, isn't it? It's for you to look. And he doesn't really like it if you're going to not even bother about it. He would love you to go and look. Yes, and read, oh, mashallah, he's done this, oh, mashallah, he's done that. So this is actually, he's asking you to look. As I said, always the people like the person who is not nosy. True or not? The person who's nosy doesn't like it. Puts his nose in everywhere. And I know a person used to go to the fridge. Allahu al-musta'an. So this the fridge, I feel like there's like a privacy to the person. He wants to put something there. You can't open the fridge without the permission of the person. Now, fadl. Yeah, fadl.
It's about the Janazah Salah. You've done the Janazah Salah 10, 12, 13 years later. You have doubt that the Salah wasn't done properly, i.e. the Fatiha wasn't said in the Salah, like Imam read the Salah. What do you do?
13 years later you have the doubt? Why didn't you have the doubt before that time? It doesn't work for me. I don't know. Explain that to me, please. How can you tell us that?
We went to brother's father's funeral the other day,
Brother's father's funeral.
and
The same imam?
I think it was.
Oh, you say you're not sure. Anyway, yeah.
But the masjid is known not to read the Fatiha.
Hanafi masjid.
Yes.
Yeah, Hanafi don't read the Fatiha.
I didn't know that.
That doesn't matter. But according to them, it's halal. It's authentic. So if it is he's praying and he thinks his prayer is valid, his prayer is valid. It's like Father Hanafi, they made a marriage without a wedding. For you it is batil. For him it's halal. You're going to tell your mother and your father who married without you're fornicating? A'udhu billah. It's according to their halal. We accept the marriage of not even Hanafi, the Christians. Isn't it? So when a husband and a wife married Christian in the church, and they came to become Muslim, because you are fornicating, you have to do another marriage. Do they tell them that? No. Whatever is being the marriage, being legalized in the marriage at that time, considered a marriage. People came from the Hindu and embraced Islam, and they were married. Do we tell them to perform the marriage again? Same thing with the prayer. So if that prayer is valid for them, it's valid for us. Because they've got the proof for this. Now, they got a proof which is wrong. Now, they should really listen to Abdullah ibn Abbas. He read it loudly, the Fatiha. Because the Rabbi used to come, not to think, he read it loudly. So why? Because people, they thought the Fatiha is not part of that. But the problem is, some of Ahl Hadith took it wrongly. They started reciting loudly now. So it ended up with people reciting Fatiha loudly in the what? Imams, Fatiha in the, making tajweed of it. In the prayer of the janazah. But Abdullah ibn Abbas, he said that to show you this is the sunnah. The sunnah of what? The Fatiha, not the loud recitation. Now.
Can some excessive speech be good? For example, if there's a WhatsApp group.
How can it be good? We said that excessive talk is beyond the good. So how can it gives the definition?
For example, like there'll be a WhatsApp group and
Just like we know, we talking a lot, aren't we? Am I talking a lot? Yes, I am. It's to do with the good. So it's not for good kalam. Okay, so they've got WhatsApp group and they are, for example, I don't think that people are doing 100 messages a day. You know, I mean, that is not a successful group. I wouldn't really bother even. I put in mute for 1 year, or in 2 years, or 100 years. I don't want to read it. You know, somebody said to me, if you have too many trees, you don't notice. Do you understand me? If you have a desert and you have one tree, you keep looking at it, isn't it? One tree in the desert, 5 trees in the desert. But you have millions of trees, 100 messages. All the benefit of the people are trying to, you're going to lose it. Maybe one of these messages is very important. But because too many messages are around it, you can't see it. So that's what I'm just saying, it's not right. The person who's in leader of that should really learn how to govern that. You should make a maximum, for example. Otherwise, you're not going to be successful. You're going to mute it, I know it. It's going to be bothering you. Fadal.
I came across the hadith, there's no salah without Surah Fatiha.
Yeah, the hadith without there's no salah without the Fatiha is 100% correct. Even says batil, khidaj, is invalid. So
how do we, the one Imam is doing the janazah in Hanafi?
oh no, this is a different case now. Because this is, as I said, Prophet ﷺ said, he who does marry without a wali, batil. I'm just saying, do you say to your father and mother who married a Hanafi is batil? Same thing. Because this is what they understand. For them, your Salat al-Asr is batil. You know that? Because you pray it early, before the time of the Asr, their Asr. Okay, for you it's late, but for them you're outside the time. So, as I'm just saying, and have to be careful here when we make invalidation of other people's marriages, other people's salah. It will be different, because for the Imam, for the Ahnaf, even the Fatiha is not a pillar in the normal salah. Not just salah janazah. You could leave you and read Qul Huwallahu Ahad. Yes, he made a sin, but he made a sin because he did not do the wajib, but it is not a pillar. It's not fard, is it? Because for them fard is different from the wajib. Anyway, without going any further than this, but I'm just saying to you that this is what they believe. They're wrong, okay, but they believe they're right. وَمَنْ صَحَّتْ صَلَاتُهُ لِنَفْسِهِ صَحَّتْ لِغَيْرِهِ. Whose prayer is valid for himself, is valid for the others. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.